frogs, dogs, and logs. In this video, I'm going to show you how I create elevations based on the floor plan. Now, this is the best way to ensure accuracy of your elevations as it relates into your construction document sets. Now, my students have been working on this floor plan. We've put in all the doors, windows, walls, plumbing, furniture, and ceiling plans. We put all the layers into one floor plan in model space, and then we control the layers in paper space. So let me kind of show you, kind of like this. We are able to turn some layers on and off as needed to get the sheets to show correctly. So model space, it always looks like a hot mess, but that's just the way that we do it. Now, when you draw your elevations in your construction document sets, you should elevate all casework. So that means all cabinetry and all built-in objects. So in this floor plan, we should be elevating the entire kitchen as well as the two bathrooms. So right here and right here. Elevating means that we show the front faces of the objects as they sit against the wall. Never show the tops or bottoms of objects, just the fronts. The elevation is most helpful to the carpenter and the cabinet installers if they are two separate people, and the elevations really just kind of help them lay out the cabinets the way they were designed to be laid out and to know exactly how and where to install them. For this demonstration, I am going to elevate one wall of my kitchen from start to finish so that you can see how it is done in model space. Now, my method might seem a little strange, but bear with me and allow me to explain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the kitchen area right here. And then I'm going to place my copy over to the side, and I use that copy to draw the elevation. So let me show you what that looks like. I kind of already have done this right here. So here's the copy of the kitchen, and I used it to help me draw this elevation. Then what I did is I take this copy and I rotate it as shown here to make the next elevation. And then I copy this, rotate it, make the next elevation, and so on and so forth until I have all four of the elevations completed. Then what I do is I move these elevations into place so that they can line up with each other, and then I can make my elevation sheet look oh so pretty. Are you ready to get this started and try this out? Let's do this. Nothing like just getting in there and doing it. So here's the floor plan, and like I said, I want to copy the kitchen, but it's a hot mess. There's layers everywhere. So I'm going to use the freeze command located here in the layers panel of the home tab. It's got that little cute snowflake. I'm going to click on that, and that allows me to temporarily hide layers. We are not deleting layers, we are just hiding layers. So I'm turning everything off that doesn't have to do with like the things that are in the kitchen. So I've got walls, windows, I've got the cabinetry, I've got the equipment. We're good to go, and even the door. Alright, I'm going to hit escape. And I'm going to use a selection box to grab the kitchen. I'm going to hit the copy command, and I'm going to place it just to the right. So what happened is my hatch from the walls came with me, so I don't need that. I'm going to delete it. I don't need this either. I'm going to delete it. I'm really just kind of concentrating on what's going on with the kitchen. I am, however, going to, let's use the AWOL command. I'm going to draw this little line back in because I am going to need that here shortly. And then I'm going to use fillet to bring those together. Now, is that what's happening in my plan? No, but it's okay. I'm just trying to make it clean so that I can work from it. Alright, awesome. So we have the floor plan copied, and what I want to do is I want to elevate the cabinets against this wall. So in the layers panel, you should find E1 through E8. And I'm using the DDFD plot style. So in that plot style, E1 is red and it's the darkest, and then it gets lighter and lighter and lighter until we get to E8, which is super light. So when I go to elevate, the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a shell of the floor, the ceiling, and where the walls are located. So I'm going to start with E1, and I'm going to locate the interior portion of the walls up above. So I'm just using these little construction lines to determine where exactly my elevation is going to sit above the plan. And then I can draw a line straight across. So this represents the floor of my elevation. The ceiling is 9 feet tall, so I'm going to use the offset command, 9 feet. And there is the top of my elevation. This is the bottom. I no longer need these, so I'm going to get rid of them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line to represent these two walls, or the corner of the wall, I should say. So I'm going to go to E2. And here is the boundary of my elevation. Floor, ceiling, right wall, left wall. Awesome. Now I need to look at my floor plan, and for my students we do need to make a minor adjustment. Make sure that this area right here is 5 feet in distance. So from this line to here is 5 feet. I might have told you to align it with the window. I lied. Make this 5 feet. Thank you. Alright, so now knowing that, what we have is a desk and we have a kitchen cabinet. And this line is here to represent the difference in height. So a typical kitchen counter is 36 inches high from finished floor. And that's what this line represents, is the finished floor. So I'm going to grab the E3 because it's not as heavy. The countertops aren't as heavy as the walls. I'm going to hover and extend and go up 36 inches. I'm just going to draw it straight across. So this is representing the top of my kitchen countertop. So now let's put in the desk countertop, which desks are usually 30 inches from the finished floor line. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab a line, and I really want to show like where that's located up here. So I hover and I extend. Hey mister, work with me here. Click and click. And that is where the desk is located in my elevation. So if it's 30 inches high, I'm going to hover, extend 30 inches. If you're not seeing the hover and extension, make sure that you have your little alligator turned on down here. That's your object snap tracking. It wouldn't hurt to have your Pac-Man on as well. Make sure that both of them are on. Alright, so this is the top of the countertop, and this is the top of the countertop for the desk. Typical countertops are 1.5 inches thick, so I'm going to use the offset command, 1.5, and I'm going to offset down and offset down. Now I've gotten in the thickness of the countertop. Most countertops have a backsplash of some kind, and that is just an extension of the countertop as it moves up onto the wall. It helps prevent spills from penetrating the chipboard wall so that we can keep things nice, there's no mold, all that kind of stuff. So usually a backsplash is about 4 inches. So I'm going to use the offset command, 4 inches, and I'm going to do both the countertop and the desk. And then I'm just going to draw one more little line right here just to finish that off. So there's a countertop with a backsplash, countertop with a backsplash. The other line that's really easy to put in right now is going to be the toe kick. So this happens on kitchen counters, or I'm sorry, kitchen cabinets that it's about 4 inches from the floor, and that's where your toes go when you're standing at like the sink or the stove cooking. So I'm going to use the line, hover, extend 4 inches, and there's the toe kick. Now the desk is pretty open underneath here. There's not going to be anything else that we're going to do to this desk. However, there could be a wall base, and that also protects, like if you spill something on the floor, from it getting over into the drywall. So since that's further back from the toe kick, I'm going to use the magenta, and I'll draw in that toe kick. It should also be 4 inches high no matter what material you're using on the floor. So we got the wall base, we have the toe kick, we have the counters. We're in pretty good shape. The other thing that we need to know about this kitchen is that there is a 1-foot soffit above the wall cabinets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset 1 foot. I'm going to use the red because it's ceiling, and there is the soffit place. So I'm trying to get some of the easy lines done and out of the way. And I'm doing these lines because we need to put in this window right here. So the easiest way to do this, I'm going to go to E2 because we're working on the wall and our walls are currently in E2. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw a line straight up to the soffit and straight up to the soffit. So I'm definitely using my plan to help me draw. Then it's up to us to decide exactly where this window is going to live. So I'm going to actually put the windowsill 6 inches up above that backsplash. And I'll also do 6 inches below that soffit, just for consistency. And then I'm going to grab the line and I'm just going to adjust it. There's a lot of things to trim if I tried to trim this, so sometimes it's just easier to grab the grip and go. Beautiful. Now you can do something fancy to your window if you want to, but remember that this is not a presentation drawing. This is a CAD drawing. We don't put foofy things like curtains in CAD drawings, okay? It's just should be a very basic representation. Now you could get more detailed on the window, so as you can see what I did here, I gave the window mullions and I gave it glass marks. So you can decide what you want to do, just no foofy, or I will bonk you on the head with a ruler or something, but just do a nice general idea as to what that window is going to look like. I'm going to leave mine blank because that takes time to work on and we don't need to worry about it. After I get the window in, I'm going to concentrate on what's happening here. So we have cabinets that are making a turn. And so what I want to do is I want to show like a side profile of these cabinets that are coming this direction. So I always know that this is going to be 2 feet right here. All cabinets are 2 feet. So I'm going to go back to green. I'm going to hover my mouse on the underside of the kitchen counter and I'm going to go over 2 feet. And I'm going to go down to the toe kick. Now the toe kick is 4 inches high, but they're usually 3 inches deep. So I'm going to hover right here, extend 3 inches, and down. Then I'm going to adjust my toe kick because a toe kick doesn't go through these cabinets. Actually, I can do something closer like this. That's perfect. So now we can see the side profile of those cabinets. And I actually also don't need to show this part, but I do want to bring this up. So I don't need to see details. I'm just trying to show the outline of the side profile. I'm also going to show the side outline of the countertop backsplash profile. So I'm going over 1.5 inches. And there is that. So that's what a cabinet looks like in side profile. I'm going to fill this in with a hatch because that's just going to indicate that I'm not paying attention to what's happening inside the cabinet. I'm really concentrating on what's happening out here. So I'm going to type hatch. And I'm going to stick with this ANS 131 and I'm going to click right inside. Now that came in really super tiny, so I'm going to come up here and let's do, what does 20 look like? Yeah, that's not too bad. But it is in the green, and most hatches that you do need to be super light. So I'm going to take this, go to the Home tab, and I'm going to choose the magenta to do my hatch. That way it's a little bit lighter, it doesn't have to be crazy dark. And there I've indicated that there are cabinets coming towards me, but I'm not getting detailed about it. Alright, so the next part is probably one of the hardest parts, and that's how do you determine what happens in here? What size cabinets are you going to do? As you get more experienced, it gets a little bit easier, but since this is probably one of your first times doing these kind of elevations, I'm going to give you the cabinet sizes for you. So let's come over here and take a peek at what we're doing. Not that one, we're looking at this one. Okay, so the cabinet sizes are 3 feet, 3'6", and 2'6", right there. Gorgeous. Lines up very well. Now here I did a cyan, and that's okay, but I think the magenta works better. So as we look at this elevation, I want you guys to notice that each cabinet is separated by a line that goes from underside of countertop all the way to the floor line. And those are green. The cyan is indicating where the 2 drawers and the 2 doors are divided. This line and this line indicate the door swing. So remember that it always points to the hinges, and then the outer part of this, like kind of like a carrot shape or triangle shape, whatever you want to call it. When they're spread apart like this, it means that this is where the door actually opens up and it hinges from here. So usually 2-door, 2-drawer cabinets get a diamond shape inside of it. And this is indicating that there is a built-in shelf into these cabinets. The drawers themselves, drawer sizes can vary depending on manufacturer. So on this instance, I did 8-inch drawer faces. And I'm not getting fancy. I'm not worrying about, if it's a partial overlay or a full overlay. I'm just doing basics. That's all an installer needs. They don't need you to get fancy with your work, okay? So 3 foot, 3'6", 2'6". So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and I'm going to offset this line over 2'6". And then I'm going to make sure it goes all the way down to the ground and that it doesn't cut through the countertop, because cabinets actually stop right where the countertop meets it. So there's the first one, offset 3'6", and that means that this last one should be 3 feet total. Now mine says 3.5 feet, and sometimes that happens. If that ever happens, it just means that you need to add a 1/2 inch filler. So a filler will help fill in the gap as you need to. So you can decide where that filler goes. In this case, we could do an end panel that's finished on this left side right here. And that way we can make up for that 1/2 inch. And trust me, a 1/2 inch off in a kitchen is a very big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset 3 feet, and I'm going to go to the left. And we can still kind of leave that there, that's fine. I was just kind of taking a peek at it. So this is a filler, and if you need to know about fillers, go to my video 22 and you can learn about what fillers are and what they're all about. Some designers like to put them over here on this side, and if you want to do that, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you adjust, because these kitchen cabinets cannot vary in their width. They must be 2'6", 3'6", and 3 feet. Never have a cabinet that's like 3 foot and 2 inches. There's no such thing. And to customize a cabinet into that size costs a great deal of money. So just pay attention to the sizes I give you and you're going to be fine. Alright, so now we have placed our cabinet and our filler. The next thing I want to do is I want to put in the drawer line. So I'm going to go cabinet to cabinet, and that's going to seem a little strange, but that's okay. I'm going to use the E4. I'm going to use this line. I'm going to hover, come down 8 inches, and go across. And then I'm going to go across, and then I'm going to go across. I'm treating each cabinet individually as though they are a person. So I guess I would like to introduce you to Ron, to Hermione, and to Harry. Right there. There you go. And the reason why I do that is because it helps me find the center so that I can put in the door line and the drawer line. And I can just use one single line. That's totally fine. So now I have 2 doors and 2 drawers. Same thing for the next one. Find the middle. If you can't find the middle, make sure that it's turned on here with your object snap. And same for this one. So at 2'6", it also gets 2 doors and 2 drawers. If you're ever confused, go to that video 22 that I have on YouTube and you'll see how to differentiate between what cabinet gets a single door and what cabinets get 2 doors. Alright, so we are moving right along, you guys. So the next thing that we need to do is we do need to decide where the shelf is going to go. And I usually place the shelf dead center in this cabinet. So I'm going to temporarily actually move this line down because that helps me find the center really quick. I'm going to switch to E5. And then I'm also going to come over here and I'm going to override E5 to be --2. That way I can come in here and you can kind of see those dash lines. No, that blue is really hard to see on the black. But I'm trying to go across the entire cabinet, not into the filler. The filler is a solid piece of wood. We don't go into that. Now the dashes are showing up really small, so I'm going to grab it. I'm going to right click and go to Properties. Line type scale. What does 5 look like? That might be a little too large, so I'm going to go down. What does 3 look like? That's about right. 3. So I'm going to highlight this so that you can actually see it on the screen. That's what I'm going for. So I'm going to copy this particular line and I'm going to place it at each cabinet, and then I can just grab it and pull it over. Grab it and adjust it. There we go. Now I can take and draw in those diagonal lines to show how the door swings. But before I do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to type Properties. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to 3. So that way when I continue drawing these dash lines, that they come in the correct line type scale. So here's the line. And I'm going to draw in the little triangle looking thing. And remember that I have to do both sides. Most cabinets open from the center out, and that's what that's indicating. Now I can bring this line straight up so that there's the drawers, and readjust him back down. You naughty little line. Alright, so then you do the same thing for the next cabinet. Line, diagonals, line, diagonals. That's looking beautiful so far, don't you guys think? Awesome. Alright, so the next step is going to be to put in the wall cabinets. So the wall cabinets should be about 18 to 24 inches from the top of this countertop. Normally it's 18. We're going to go ahead and do 2 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset 2 feet from the top of the countertop, not the backsplash, the countertop. And that will help me place where the wall cabinets will be located. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check what is the height here. Measure distance from here to here. We are at 3 feet. So these cabinets are going to be non-standard wall cabinets because what I want is for them to go up to the soffit. So they're going to be 3 feet. Normally they should be 30 inches instead of 36. But that's okay. We can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking down here. Where are these wall cabinets located? So I'm going to use my E3 and I'm going to click here. And oh, I still have this on override. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn this by layer, and I'm going to go back to like normal so that I'm not continuing to draw with dashed lines. There we go. So here are the wall cabinets and here are the wall cabinets here. So I'm just going to adjust where these go, and with this one still highlighted, I'm just going to put it back on by layer, and it gets rid of that dash. And then I'm going to trim this out. Oop, not that line. This line. Excellent. Now I also have wall cabinets coming at me because they turn the corner. So I need to do the same thing that I did here up here with the wall cabinet. So the wall cabinets are 12 inches deep. So I'm going to take this, hover, extend 12 inches down. I'm going to type hatch. And I'm going to place my hatch in there. And it's already scaled, but I just need to adjust what hatch color I'm using because I want it to be light and I need it to be consistent. So let's come up here and let's look at what our wall cabinet sizes are. So it looks like we have a 3'6", and then we have a 3 foot and a 1'6" right next to each other. So we decided not to go for a full cabinet right here. And again, the full cabinets are divided by green lines. These lines are the door openings. And this cabinet is just a single door cabinet. All right. So let's come down here and let's just double check and make sure everything is okay. Measure, distance, 3'6". Awesome. So this one's going to be easy. I'm going to use E4 and I'm going to draw where the doors are, and I'm going to actually do this first and then drag that down. So there's where the doors are located. This line can be deleted. I'm going to choose E5. I'm going to do the dash times 2. I'm going to type properties. And it's still on 3, so I should be okay. And we're doing the door swings first. In most wall cabinets, there's usually 2 adjustable shelves. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to come up, let's do 6 inches. It doesn't really matter where these guys go. And maybe this one I'll do 9 inches. So you can place them however you want to. I'm just trying to give space so that, I can put dishes and cups, tall things, short things, whatever works. So just remember that we went 6 and 9. You could do 6 and 6 if you want. I really don't care. But there we have that particular wall completed, that wall cabinet. This one had a 3 foot and a 1'6", so I'm going to offset 3 feet to separate the cabinets, and then I'm just going to make sure that this is 1'6". And it is! Yay! That makes life so much easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work smart instead of hard. I'm going to grab these 2 shelves. I'm going to copy them according to this base point right here. And then I can click on the same corner of this other one and it places those shelves. That's gorgeous right there. And then I do, like I said, I want to keep these lines separate. Every cabinet gets its own, it doesn't share. And then I can copy this as well, but I'm going to copy it from this base point where it intersects that shelf, so that then I can place it here. And then we get to draw in the door swings. Now this one's a little bit harder, so I'm going to hover and then I'm going to extend so that there we go. Now I have all the cabinetry completed. I'm showing where the cabinets are intersecting in the corner. I've got the desk drawn, I've got the wall base, like everything is in its place. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to do the dimensions and the callouts.